so embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win, like lots of sims popping it like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pencil, choose what I give to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up if we want it, and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never this.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome into another Tuesday night here on Divots and Pivots on That Sports Podcast Network. And as always, you can catch it, the reposts of it on all your audio podcast services, courtesy of Golfer Gang. So get out there and check that out. And as always, again, I'm going to just keep saying it as always. We are brought to you by Acorn Hills, acornhillsco.com. Use discount code TBFY15. And yes, Bud is rocking the hat as always rocking the merch. You can use that discount code for 15% off on your order when you place that over there. So give Nate and the crew at Acorn Hills all the love you can. Summer season's coming up, and they got you covered to golf out there in the sun. But without further ado, we got ourselves kind of a wild and energetic show tonight. I think is on the tap for us. So, Bud, we're gonna start calm. How are you, sir?
No fucking clue what you're talking about. I'm doing wonderful. We're back outside at Witch City Studios here, wrapping up the summer season before we head further north for the second half of the summer here soon. No, actually, fun story. I'm sitting here, and if you're listening to this is a pint glass from Pete Rose's restaurant down in South Florida, the Pete Rose Ballpark Cafe. First, I used to have a huge pint glass collection, and over the years, like it started with this one. This is the very first one I ever stole with my mom on some baseball tournament when I was like 15. Yeah. And I remember Pete Rose was at the restaurant doing his radio show at the time. And during one of the commercial breaks, love Salem, I walked over and walked up to him and asked for his autograph. And he told me that it was on sale in the gift shop. And so my mom didn't like that answer too much. And later I was just commenting on the glass. And so she's like, "You like it?" I said, "Yes." So she poured the ice into the other cup, put it in her purse, and said, "Let's go." So fun story.
I love that. We've all been taught to steal from restaurants by our parents, I feel like, or at least a fun aunt or uncle.
Yeah, I feel like it's less of a thing now. I feel like people have less of a sense of humor on it. And you get some. No, we're not going to go down that road. No, tomorrow I've got the Mass Amateur Qualifier at Golf Club at Turner Hill up in Ipswich. So I'm looking forward to that. Tee off at 12:50. I like it. This is one of the first qualifiers I've played in where I've had a late tee time. I seem to always go off early in the day, and it doesn't really bother me one way or another. So it'll be fun. Take the kid to daycare tomorrow in the morning, come back, do some stretching, maybe get a little ride in on the Peloton, loosen up, and then get to the course early and putt. I got to putt for a while because that's going to be the one thing. You know, hitting balls is like it's like riding a bike, I guess. You know, it comes back pretty quickly. So you just go to the range for a short period of time. But I'm going to lock in on the greens for a while and try to get a really good feel so that I can avoid 3 putts tomorrow. I've got guys chirping me right now from my golf group just to give me advice, like stay below the hit, stay below the pin no matter what, which just sound life advice, stay below the pin. But I am playing this place blind. One of my good buddies has a history there. And, you know, he's just saying, like, you can get out there, great. You know, there's some blind tee shots, this, that, and the other. And I think not seeing it doesn't lower expectations or anything, but it simplifies the approach where I've looked at the course enough on the Gin app, online, Google Earth, you know, this, that, and the other. So I just have to hit a lot of good fairways with the driver. Don't have to bomb it, but it is going to be a lot of drivers, which I'm comfortable with driver. I like driver. So a lot of drivers, and then just trying to, you know, take the right angles. The one wild card for me, and I don't know if you zoom in, I look like I'm auditioning for the sequel to Dazed and Confused right now. I look stoned out of my mind, and that's not the case. Allergies, dude. Allergies today and yesterday. Not that I don't partake in the devil's cabinet.
Say you could be.
Yeah, I mean, two things can be true at the same time. They're not in this case yet. No, I've just been, and I'm waiting for the Loratadine, I guess, or the Relatadine. It's the Zyrtec.
I was going to say Zyrtec's my go-to. That's when it really kicks in. That's
a generic ingredient for that. It's kind of like ibuprofen versus Advil. Same shit, different name.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to kick in. So,
Is this
But
the course that you were hoping to be able to go out with a buddy and play, like to get you? I'm assuming you obviously weren't able to make that happen.
No, and quite frankly, if had I not, we're in the middle of this house. Like we're
Yeah.
selling a house, we're buying a house, and looking at the work calendar and everything like that, I'm taking a ton of time off the next few weeks as is. It wasn't worth trying to squeeze in a day off and get up there and get a practice round and all that kind of stuff. Because I'll be honest with you, at the end of the month, June 24th, that's when I'm going back to Crystal Lake and Haverhill for another at a qualifier there, which I'm very familiar with, and for the Pub Links, and it'll be my last shot before I transition to the main golf world.
You transition into some easier competition.
I don't know, man. Listen,
golf. I'm kidding.
No, you're not lying. The pool will be the pool will be smaller, but no matter what, sharks are sharks, and so
there's still going to be a handful of guys that can play anywhere.
It's kind of like Brooks Koepka's mentality of no matter what, you've got to beat probably a dozen guys. Right. At the end of the day, there's only going to be a handful of guys who are going to be close enough to the finish line to make a difference. And we kind of saw that. Jack Nicklaus made a great comment about Scotty's win at the Memorial, and he was saying, no disrespect to Nick Taylor and Ben Griffin or whoever else was up there. He's like, they're fine players. He's like, but they're just not in Scotty's league, and he's right. No. So I saw somebody out there with a hot take right now, and I think they were trying to it was definitely clickbait, but they were talking about how Tiger went on this incredible run, and we look back saying, well, that's because nobody was on his level, so the competition was watered down. And they're saying, is that the same case here because of how LIV watered down the competition, and then on top of that, right? Like it's the six guys.
I'm not sure. Okay.
It is stark when Rory's not in the field.
Yeah.
There really wasn't another horse that you could rely on to just run that hard that late into the. So I mean, but what we're seeing from Scotty is just incredible shit. No, just what we're seeing from Scotty right now is just incredible stuff.
Yeah, well, I even sent it to you early on Sunday when Griffin went out and he bogeyed the first, then he bounced back with an immediate birdie on the second, and I texted you saying, that bounce back right there by Griffin, that's the stuff that champions are made of. Like that's the stuff that it's going to take to beat somebody like Scotty, to punch up. You need to surprise people here and there and get something you're not supposed to. And Ben Griffin coming back with that rebounding with that birdie after a bogey to start playing against the world number one Scotty, who parred the first two holes on Sunday at a tour event. That's not supposed to happen, and he went out there and did. Now, of course, we obviously know the ending of the story here. Griffin wasn't able to hold it together, even though he gave us a run late there with that eagle birdie, and I thought he was going to be able to make some magic there to at least bring it down to the 18th, but that rough was pretty brutal this weekend at the Memorial. That rough was, I think, a good warm-up for what we're going to see at Oakmont for the U.S. Open next week. So I think some of these guys that played in the Memorial are probably gonna. It's hard to say. They're not. I can't say they learned a thing or two because obviously it's different. It's different grass. It's different course, whatever. But I think they're gonna be just slightly 0.5% more comfortable playing in that rough just because they played in kind of a similar rough very recently.
That's fair. It'll be interesting to see if how much they try to trick up the RBC Canadian this week. Because they do. That's a national open. People forget. It's similar to how we have the Scottish Open and the Open Championship back to back, and you have the Irish Open right there in the little 3-week swing. We have the although if they just had the Mexican Open somewhere out there too, it'd be perfect. But all right. So you have a point where the Memorial is a good kind of precursor to a U.S. Open, which is also why Jack hated for it to be back to back with the U.S. Open. Right. He thought that was kind of a bit much to ask of these guys to be able to enjoy the experience of the Memorial Tournament, which it was a great week. It's a wonderful tournament. I think there was a time when the Byron Nelson or the Colonial, these tournaments had a little more status than they do now. And I don't know if the same is going to be true with the Memorial, because it truly was hosted by Jack as opposed to just being associated with
Memorial.
So, whether or not I think that the biggest, whether or not this was like a precursor to the U.S. Open, because the shit that's coming out of there with 6-inch rough, the guys from Oakmont were talking about 14 on the stent meter. The moment of the weekend, once Scotty had it locked in, was getting handed his baby, who had a skid mark blowout, poop stain up the back. And
it was just it happens.
Because I am a deep investigative journalist, I went online and I was looking at some other videos, and his wife Meredith, who's a damn treat, they were laughing about how they only had one extra diaper, like one newborn diaper, and they were just kind of laughing about that. They're like, we left the house with one diaper.
I've done that back in the day, and
everybody and their new parents, and that was the charming thing about it, is like, and then Sky's like, I gotta go talk to people, and he's like, the baby's gonna flip. So it's cool. It's always cool, and I hope this run that he's on continues, and I kind of hope we are seeing
the start of it here.
It was not yesterday that Tiger, won the U.S. Open by 20 or 15 shots. It was 25 years ago. I mean, it was a long, a generation, if not two, hath passed since Tigre was at the top and at the peak doing his shit. So maybe, we thought maybe it was going to be Rory. Maybe we thought it was going to be Jordan Spieth when he started spitting out majors. John Rahm was quasi anointed, and we'll talk about him in a minute. He's relevant to the discussion later today with TJ. But I kind of am starting to be all in on this, like Scotty's him. I saw that jokingly somebody updated his Wikipedia page to his middle name is Himothy. Which it tickled me a lot. I like that. Scotty Himothy. Creative. Scott Himothy Scheffler. I think stay tuned. I think it's legit. The hype is real. You listen to his interviews and talking about how you deal with frustration. He's like, what I do on 11 can't change what happened on 10. And when people go, I wish it was that simple. No, it is that simple. It takes a long time to get there, and I think we forget he's got the scar tissue under those conditions. We all, if you're successful in any way, shape, or form, you have that mentality somehow. So real quick, I name dropped John Rahm.
Yes, you did.
And if you tuned in if you saw any teasers and you tuned in that, our buddy TJ from Basic Bogies is allegedly, sorry. Sorry, wrong allegedly. No, look at me. I have been barely hello. Hi. John Rahm is from Spain. Fact check, true.
Yes.
Jose Luis Ballester, or Jose, it's like Jose Le, I think Jose Le, or I think that's like his nickname, and then his full name is Jose Luis Ballester, but whatever. Spanish kid from Arizona State who pissed some people off by wearing the upside down Sun Devil like hat at Augusta National, which everybody calm down. It wasn't the Malbon shit.
Well, and those hats are for some reason stylish right now. Like, I don't know why, but they are.
I think they look dumb as shit, but then again,
I do too, but whatever.
Doesn't matter. He won the U.S. Amateur. He is high on the PGA Tour U rankings. He's not quite the accelerated program level like we saw some guys, but he was high enough to get an invite to have status on the Korn Ferry Tour. He declined it. And so now the rumors are flying. LIV Golf might have their next signing in Jose Luis Ballester. I think a couple things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Because recently LIV did say, we're not doing the guaranteed contracts, whatever. They didn't say it's like an absolute. I think they kind of were trying to say that's not to be expected at all times.
Yeah. And I think they were more so speaking to the value of the contracts themselves. Like, don't expect those world-changing numbers. Right.
World-changing numbers for like not just generational, because even a couple $1 million can be generational when done right. So I think that's more what we're talking about is these contracts might be smaller, but they might be doing what they're doing, which is if you got 30 guys in the PGA Tour U rankings and 20 are going to go to the Korn Ferry Tour, 10 are going to get their cards, whatever the hell the numbers shake out to be. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. If all you got to do is poach one or two a year to get some buzz, then I could see this as a plan to, I don't know, somehow keep a little bit of a pulse. I don't see it as a huge growth strategy,
No.
but it'll be interesting because if this is another swing and the miss, if he turned down the Corn Ferry Tour because he's going to try some other alternate route to the PGA that we're not thinking of, then that's it. LIV is officially dead. If that's not true, and if they are starting to, maybe poach one or two, because you got a limited field, 60, 72 guys, whatever it might be.
Right.
And it is a season-long commitment where it's like, hey, just all we need is to get one or two a year, familiar names. Like, could you imagine if Neil Shipley for 10 mil went over there?
Oh.
He's not a PGA Tour member yet.
No, he's not.
So
he's a big enough name in the culture right now that would feel big. Honestly, if Neil Shipley.
No, I think Shipley's on Corn Ferry Tour now, so it would be a fun.
I believe.
Whatever the case. Could you imagine if these guys, these they get a flash of fame real quick, and then they go get their bag 2 years, and then they come back and they try to qualify, knowing that they got some financial security? I could see it as a way forward.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't see the business model surviving, but let's table that for now.
Yeah, we're going to get that for now. If you peep the Twitter convo between TJ and myself on Sunday, you know what's coming down the pipe here in about 15-20 minutes.
So let's get back to the USGA. Jose Luis Ballesteros, or Ballester. I did not see him on, although I think he's exempt into the U.S. Open this year because he won it last year. I think you get the current and the next year U.S. Open invitation. I don't know. Let's find out if he's in the field. But while you look that up, those who are not familiar with the U.S. Open, yesterday was golf's longest day. It's quickly becoming one of my new favorite traditions to kind of tune into Golf Channel and just watch all day long. So U.S. Open works like this. It is open, which means any Joe shit the rag man amateur with a 0.4 handicap or better, or which there's a lot of people out there, especially at these clubs. When you get familiar with a club, you're +1 and +2. I'm playing with a guy tomorrow who's like a +0.4 at his club.
Okay. And yes, Jose Luis Ballester is in the U.S. Open this next week.
That's what I thought. I think they get it's like they get a
I think it's 2. I think you're right. I think it's 2 years exemption, something like that.
No, it's 2 years. It's just the following year because the U.S. Amateur. The U.S. Amateur hasn't happened yet. It happens late in the fall. So he is. Okay. Yeah, he got into. We already saw him in the Masters. He's getting his U.S. Open crack. Good for him.
Yeah.
Other people. So this year, the U.S. Open, they accepted 10,000 entries into open qualifying. So anybody who's a professional or 0.4 handicap or better, you can go and try to qualify. You pay the fee, go to a local qualifier. I think there's 110 sites, something like that. And then that gets whittled down to something like 12. I think there was 9 on Monday, and there was 3 previously that was already contested. And so there are 12 final qualifying sites, each with like 50 to 70 golfers and a handful of spots there. And this is where, too, you don't necessarily, if you're some of these PGA Tour pros, there are other exemptions that get you into final qualifying. So some of them do have to go to local first and then final, but a lot of them have exemptions other ways into final qualifying. And so you get stuff, it's phenomenal because the Monday is 36 holes. So it's grueling. I mean, if you've never humped 36 holes in a day, it's not easy, especially this time of year.
Especially if you're Max Homa carrying your own bag.
Fucking love that. And that's exactly where I was going. The Columbus.
Okay, sorry, I spoiled it.
They did. The Columbus qualifier, which featured Max Homa and 4 other PGA Tour pros fighting it out for one spot. And I can't remember who got that spot. Was it Eric Cole?
So Eric Cole, I believe, I think that was the spot he won. I know Cameron Young also did qualify, and I know he was in that big playoff at the end there.
And it was Cam Young. Eric Cole was in it, but it was Cam Young who came out on top.
Okay, I know Eric Cole also qualified, so I'm not sure how he qualified then. Because Eric Cole also won a qualifying spot. Because I have something here in front of me that says lost again in playoff for the. Oh, I'm sorry. Eric Cole won an alternate spot. That's what it was.
Okay.
So Cameron Young, sorry, that's what it was. Cameron Young won the spot from the playoff outright, and then they did an additional playoff to see the 2 alternates coming out of that group, and that was Eric Cole and Tyler, someone I've never heard of before, honestly.
Tyler, someone I've never heard of.
Oh no, sorry, not Tyler. Chase Johnson.
Oh, Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson's
Yeah.
actually a fascinating story, but we'll talk about Chase Johnson another day. U.S. Open final qualifying. It was awesome. I mean, I think it gives you everything you need to. This guy James Nichols or Nicholas, I think it's James Nichols. He's a YouTuber who has been documenting his pro, PGA Tour dream for a couple of years now, and this is gonna be his first major. There's a high school kid in North Georgia who shot 63-63. Just let that sink
That's
in.
crazy.
That's what you had to do. Just to get a spot to go out there and get your ass kicked by Oakmont with its 14.5 on the stimp meter greens, and then you think about the guys who don't make it through this. I mean, like the Max Homa, who did carry his bag for 36 holes, and then said maybe it was just a spiritual journey. This one's going to hurt a little bit. Ricky Fowler was another name that did not make it through. But then there's some guys like Mark Leishman who was able to get through, local qualifying.
Great. Yeah.
And I think Blades Brown came short. Luke Poulter came short, Ian Poulter's son. So, I mean, the threshold for getting in is pretty high.
So there were some, I have a list of 10 notable names here that did miss out on it. And a lot, I will say most of these weren't necessarily surprising, just given their form from the start of the year. Now, a guy like Ricky Fowler and Max Homa, I was saying pre-show on TikTok that those two guys, unfortunately, they're in great form right now. They're playing golf right now, but they kind of ramped it up a little too late when it comes to qualifying. So I think they're going to be fine the rest of the season, but they unfortunately missed this. But this list of 10 that missed out on the qualifying is Luke Clanton, for instance, Ricky Fowler, Sergio Garcia, which who cares? Adam Hadwin missed out as well. Patrick Harrington, another one that I'm glad he gave it a shot, but fell short. Nikolai Højgaard was a surprise for me that he missed out on qualifying. We already talked Max Homa, Zach Johnson, Jake Knapp, and Keith Mitchell are kind of these top 10 names as far as the most notable names that people will recognize that will not be at the U.S. Open next week.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's tough. There was something I saw that's pretty cool. Neil Shipley, speaking of the aforementioned, he is a member at Oakmont. So I don't know. Did he end up getting in anyway? Let's see,
I believe he is. Because I saw an interview where he went out. That's
what I was saying. I saw him going around. I love that 17-year-old making the U.S. Open, mostly because his last name's Howell. I don't know if he's related to Charles Howell III, which is an Augusta family and big golf family. Charles Howell III over at LIV Golf. Boo! But no, this last name's Howell. I can't remember his first name right now. Mostly because he's committed to the University of Georgia. So go Dogs right there.
Oh, Shipley actually fell short. He is not playing the U.S. Open. I thought he made it, but no, he did not.
No, but the content you're talking about was because he used to be a caddy there when he was a kid. Right. And now as an adult, he's a member now. He was talking about like the SWAT room, which sounds like a quasi frat hazing ritual, but instead, I guess it's their weekly grudge match or weekly match, and they have it like documented in these notebooks going back forever. And so when you can open it up to like old pros who show up there for the SWAT matches before the U.S. Open and stuff. I want to look up what the hell that is even not acronym for, but what else do we need to tidy up before we welcome TJ? And speaking of SWAT matches.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the RBC Canadian is this week. We briefly touched on that. Rory is back in the field for that. So that's a good thing for ratings. Scotty is taking the week off. But more so, I feel like we haven't seen. I think this is a chance for us to see some Ludwig Oberg getting into form heading into the Open here, because that's someone that has been quiet this year. We and that's probably on our parts as the general golf public of kind of expecting a lot out of him and maybe misplacing those expectations just based off of what we've seen out of the Ryder Cup. I believe he was dealing with some sort of slight injury that was just nagging him, and I think his season's just been off to a slow start because of a few factors. So I'll be curious to see him this week, see if he can get into form heading into the next major. But Corey Connors, notable Canadian. Would love to see that. Robert McIntyre, won here before, so see if he can do it. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on Rory coming back again this week. But I was saying before, this is a nice. It's a nice field. Some of those guys that did not make the U.S. Open, Keith Mitchell and Luke Clanton, they are in this field. Luke Clanton getting the respect too, by the way. $9,000 on DK this week. So the word's getting out on Luke Clanton. Not that it wasn't already, but people are wise to him at this point. So good for Clanton. Good for that respect on him. Eric Cole, someone we talked about as well in the field, Max Homa. So yeah, it feels like a lot of the guys that missed out on qualifying, they're turning around. They're getting some holes in this week since they cannot play at the U.S. Open, and just to keep things rolling. But that's the RBC Canadian. There's really not too much to say about it. It's gonna be set up, like you said, I think a bit more friendly this week. It's not going to be resort course easy, I don't think, but it's going to be somewhere in the middle because, again, as you said, as a national tournament, it does need to be, a respectable challenge still because they can't go. They don't want them going out there shooting 22, 23 under.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're going to make it challenging. The name that I'm looking forward to is 8:35 a.m. Thursday, and I've been waiting for this for a couple of years now. Most memorably. Walker Cup a couple years ago, he clinched it for Team USA when it was at the old course of St. Andrews. And on 18, he hit a 3-wood. That's right, folks. 3-wood, drives the green, pin high, 2 putts for the birdie, walks away for the Walker Cup. Yeah. Gordon Sargent.
Oh, yes. You love this guy.
Dude, he looks like he's there to be like when he walks up. There's the joke in Happy Gilmore, which I can't believe we haven't touched on the Happy Gilmore 2 trailer.
I know. I feel like we need a whole episode for that. So we got to just find a week.
We'll just wait till it comes out and we'll review it. But he looks like the kid who's coming to hold the little stand with the signs and everything, and it's like no, I'm here to play. And then you should look him up. Jamie, pull up Gordon Sargent. No, I'm just kidding. There's some videos. He hits the ball so hard. His ball speed is 190, 195. Like, it's fucking insane. And you have no idea how it happens because he's the size of a toothpick. It's kind of like Akshay. He's built like Akshay, but a little bit shorter. And he's right-handed, but somehow he pummels the ball. So I've been excited because
he's a little bit shorter, but he is still 6 foot.
I mean, compared to like Tony Finau and some of these other big bombers, it looks ridiculous. But he was the first guy to get his card through the PGA Tour accelerated program. Mm-hmm. So you got him and Clanton and Ford actually not through the accelerated program. He just finished first in the rankings, which is a different route to getting your card. Speaking of that, Jackson Coiven, the sophomore standout at Auburn, who went back-to-back with SEC titles, but they fell short with Natties. He, too, got through U.S. Open final qualifying. He also grabbed his PGA Tour card through the Accelerated U program by dint of his play in the NCAA playoffs this year. But he has to – I don't know if he has to. I think you have to. I think they have to be a junior or senior or complete your junior or senior year before you can actually take advantage of it. He's just a freak, and it's one of those things like, oh, well, I guess we have a freshman or a sophomore doing this. But sorry, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, Jackson Coiven, another one got through, but he will not be playing this week. I'm glad you brought up Luke Clanton, though. Luke Clanton, David Ford, definitely in the field. There's a great video of David Ford getting his tour card from the commissioner at PGA Tour headquarters with his family and everything like that. So these are the things that you need to do to keep the talent at home, because it is a little bit of a grind, but the point is these guys want the grind. No disrespect to, like I said, if Jose Luis de Ballester goes and grabs his bag from LIV and then comes back just like Brooksy's about to do and some of the other guys, great. Because if you don't have an agreement or a rule to break, don't break it. Go try it elsewhere. It's no different than trying another route before coming back. That same door might not be open, but these are big boys. They know what they're doing. So, shout out to the PGA Tour for what they've been doing, which we called it here season 1 of Divots and Pivots, or not season 1, I think it was season 2 when the LIV thing started, was how are they going to stay competitive? I said they're going to lean right into the NCAA ranks because that's where the great golfers are.
Yeah, and that we've said it before, that field is deep. One thing we definitely do not talk about when it comes to LIV is there is no LIV Q program, qualifying development program, but it just doesn't have, and someone that we started talking about this past weekend in a spirited, friendly debate. TJ from Scoreboard Addicts, we're going to bring him on now because why not? It's just more fun to do these things on camera, in person, and have a nice, respectable fun with it. Now,
absolutely.
before we dive right in, PJ,
Hold
first
on,
of all,
respectable fun. I'm out.
well, you can let yourself out anytime, but so I will say, before I said let's have a glass of whiskey together, I went to the bar and bought the bar cabinet and realized I'm out of whiskey, so I'm going to be having a John Daly instead. I apologize. We'll have a glass of whiskey maybe Thursday night instead of or another Thursday night.
There is nothing wrong with a John Daly.
There's not. I just actually recently discovered them this past weekend, and I love them.
Oh
They're
yeah.
so good.
Oh yeah. My new golf drink is and excuse my voice. I lost my voice at my son's soccer game this weekend.
Oh, here comes the excuses, Jesus.
I'll take the spirited debate L now because I just don't have the voice for it. But yeah, I'm one of those parents that I don't watch soccer at all, but my son started playing it, and I'm like that guy that goes nuts.
Yeah.
You know? But I still have a little, I played hockey my whole life. So I'm like, I hit somebody. I'm like, oh shit.
Right.
Can't do that.
That was us this weekend at my stepson's or soon to be stepson's soccer game. He plays travel league, and their team's actually like legitimately like crushing teams. Like it's not even close. It's like 8-9-0. So like it, but that was us this weekend where he was playing not where we thought he necessarily should be. So we're yelling from the side, like, just move up. He comes off the field, it's like, stop yelling at me. He's like, just enough. And I was like, whatever, we're just trying to help. But we get into it too. So it's either here or there. Be a sports fan.
Same thing. How do you not just, absolutely take out your sports inabilities on your children?
It's so true. I can't run around that. Like they got kids on that team like scoring chest pass goals from the corner, and I'm like, good Lord, this is so much fun to watch.
Oh, dude, it's epic. And then you got to like remember they're like my son's 9, so it's like I'm the most intense person there, and I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm too intense for this field. I got to relax a little bit. My son touches the ball, I'm like, let's go.
I know we are the same way. It's so bad, but it's also so fun.
I can't help it, dude. I have fun with it. Like, is that not the point?
No, you should. They want just us to be their channel. They don't want us there sitting quietly on our phone and be like, "Oh yeah, golf clap."
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. But let me lay the table here for you, because I'm gonna simply just read my original post, and I'm just gonna simply read your first reply, just so that we can lay the table of where we both are, because we went on for a while. Actually, during that game is when I was chatting back and forth with you about that. So in between text to you, I'm yelling at the soccer field.
Nice.
But I put out
strays. I like it.
Yeah, I put out this tweet on Sunday, or X. What do we call it now? Is it still a tweet?
So apparently,
you tweet on X. The action of posting is, I guess, a tweet.
It's post. They want. I think Elon says posting, but it's like you're never going to get away from tweeting. Sure. It's not happening.
Might as well step back to MySpace days. So I just said, hey, LIV Golf League lovers, and tag them, because why not? Let's try to get some heat. The ratings don't lie. Head-to-head Sunday viewership ratings between PGA Tour and LIV are not even respectively close. The trip is done. It's over. It's proven that any and all success was just from the amount of money thrown at it and not the product. You, sir, did not like that. You, sir, came back ready to go, which I was loving. I was there for it. How long has the PGA been around? The companies blackball LIV and pull sponsorships from players because of the PGA's influence. Making comparisons without context is easy. How many millions of dollars has the PGA spent over how many years building that audience? Now,
billions.
Yes, at the core, fair argument. It's not apples to apples comparison. Totally agree. Understand that. I also think that's my point, that it's just not a comparison, and it's not a comparable league. And I think where I jump off with you is the elevation of LIV to be more than it is. Like, that's really all I say in this, is that the elevation of LIV being shoved down our throats by the likes of Greg Norman at the beginning, Phil Mickelson, of being like, we're better than the PGA, we should be on the same ratings and the official World Golf ratings, and just on the same level, wanting their full cake and eating it right off the bat, was laughable to me, and just not, that made no sense. I do not think the product makes sense either, but to your point, sure, they were still building it. I just don't think they're going to be around long enough to be able to build it fully to anything remotely close to comparable.
So I'm with you. Listen, I can't argue. The PGA has the viewership. The PGA has the sponsorship. The PGA has the prestige and the history. And LIV doesn't have that. But what league that just started up has any of that? What LIV does have is hundreds of billions of dollars in investments, and they're not going away right now. And that's what bothers me the most, I think, is the fact that the PGA underhandedly played the monopoly card. And I'm a big listen, I love America, I love capitalism. However, monopolies aren't allowed for a reason, right? Because they do shit like this. Oh, hey, Callaway, you're still gonna sponsor Phil Mickelson? That's not gonna be all of a sudden sponsorships pulled, right? They did it. You can't prove it. You can't sit there in the court of law and be like, no, they 100. But you know what they did. They blackballed everybody. They banned these guys. What they just did to Wesley Bryant is a joke. I mean, talk about it. I understand it's LIV sponsored, but YouTube golf is a big deal. And I know like people like Rory McIlroy poo-poo it. You're an idiot, Rory. It's the next level of getting people to watch this sport. Baseball is failing, right? Baseball is on a downtrend for a decade now. Why? They cannot attract the new, younger audience. People aren't playing baseball like they played back in the day when we were younger. But what happened? COVID. The only thing you could do outside is play golf by yourself. Everybody jumped on golf. Golf is growing rapidly. So to poo-poo anything golf-related right now, I feel is a total misstep. And people judging YouTube golf is, they get a lot of views. They get more views than LIV. I will concede that.
100% do. We're big lovers of YouTube golf on this show. Like with YouTube golf, TGL, which I know we agree in the TGL, so we'll save that fun for the end. But like, we think we agree with you 100%. That
so you're throwing we out a lot. I do agree. I don't disagree yet. I'm curious about where we are going.
Because I realized that, and I was like, shit, I'm speaking for Bud. So I apologize. I agree that YouTube golf is here to stay, and no one should be poo-pooing on it. They need to embrace it. And I do believe PGA is coming around to embracing it. I think they've been taking their time, just like with the other changes that they've now implemented that, yes, I guess you can say got sped along because of the creation of LIV and the way that LIV got created. I think they were changes that were being discussed about, but they were going to take a bit longer, and this just hurried the process around. The PGA, I think we have now seen, takes their time embracing change, and I think partly in the past it was because of a reluctance of wanting to stray from the norm. I think now they're just trying to be very weary and I guess careful of making sure they look at every angle of it and how they're going to be able to, one, be successful with it, but two, somewhat to your point, milk it for every penny it's worth.
Well, I mean, the PGA is slow with everything. How long has Monahan been on the outs? 2 years now? Is he finally gone? Like it's
gone
now, honestly.
Gone. He just hold on. He just created a multi-billion-dollar entity that he just sits at the head of the table. He's the furthest thing from gone. What's gone is any hint, any iota of a deal, merger, what have you, moving forward. LIV overplayed their hand. They've shot their load, whatever you want to call it. The only umbrage I've ever taken with LIV, because we went in to consume the product. It's fun. It's flashy. I'm walking around going, this is like a college tailgate. Like, you're mucking it up. They treated the media great. It was wonderful. It's we're just as good. We are just another elite golf tour. You're not. The product's different. We've seen it in how you also perform on the fourth day, sequential order. Golf, PGA Tour is the gold standard of championship golf for now. I mean, it's a global sport. I could see the DP World Tour giving it a run if some of these guys like Tommy McKibben, instead of going to LIV, they go to the DP Tour or something like that. But for right now, PGA Tour is the gold standard. We're the shit. We wake up, we piss, we piss excellence, whatever. Wesley Bryant is what happened to him was not a travesty. It was business. He saw that don't do this. He's different. He's the exception. He's not the rule. So it's not a travesty. He's the exception. If it was happening to, this guy and this guy and this guy, and they're being draconian about it, they're big, bad corporate PGA Tour entity, which is easy to take shots at because they give us reasons to take shots at them because they behave in ways that are, it's just business. And we're like, well, we're just humans. And it's like, then shut off the product. We won't. We need it in our veins. They're still learning and here's where YouTube is going to come, and they're going to say, this is where we're going to lean in. There's not going to be, listen, we love seeing Scotty Scheffler win in his hometown, but nobody gives a fuck about the non-signature events anymore. And that's going to be the crossover element. We already see Grant Horvat is playing in a Korn Ferry Pro-Am. Okay, here we go, folks. Buckle up, and he is the great kind of bridge, because he's going to do the Live Duels event, and he's going to go play in this, and he's going to go, and again, he's going to be that, like, he's even admitted, I'm not a PGA Tour pro. I'm not a professional golfer. He's like, I'm a professional golfer, but that in the sense that I make money out of golf. Yeah. Right. He even says, I'm not a tour guy. And I think that's what it's kind of like, well, that's capitalism. That's economics for you. Slowly but surely, we're going to squeeze out the John Deere Classics and the bumfuck tours, and we're going to replace them with content creator crossovers and stuff that's going to produce revenue. Because even at the end of the day, Mr. Colin Morikawa, this is a TV show. You are getting eyeballs, and that's what you need. I think that where Live lives and where it should continue to thrive, if it wants to, because, it ain't. That seat's gone. They got their Billy from the sports group, the Fenway group, all those guys, they got what they need. So unless Yasser wants to come to the table with more, Live is going to continue to be a global feeder, or it's going to continue to feed off of this partnership with the Asian Tour to give people a chance to get into majors, to get into the DP World Tour. And I don't think it's actually going to go anywhere. I'm kind of coming full circle on this because of how much money, like TJ was saying, how much money's been pumped into it. They're not going to walk away from $500 million, or it's $1 billion probably at this point between all of that. And you got Phil, you got John Rahm, you got Bubba, you got Ian Poulter, who probably has a cut. Yeah, even though these contracts are ending, they probably have equity in these brands, and they look at it as no. Like, you see what Bubba Watson's doing, showing up on the McAfee show, and showing up in the WNBA games.
He's loving his life now.
He loves life. The range goats for life, brother. And I think that that's fine, because holy dog shit.
Are you okay?
It might be Sasquatch. Is it Sasquatch?
It might be Sasquatch. I think that's fine. Oh, that scared Did y'all hear that door slam?
Oh, there's a door. I didn't know what it was.
Oh my God. I didn't know if you heard that. Like, a door just slammed.
I heard like a light thump, but I thought you just tapped your hand on the.
No, it scared the piss out of me because all the lights are out and I can't see anything in my backyard now.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, long story short, Live is going to exist. It's just not what they thought it was going to be, and it's not going to draw the talent. I don't know if you heard me before the show. I was talking about this kid, Jose Luis Ballester. He won the USAM last year. Hot shit guy from Arizona State who's high enough to get Korn Ferry Tour status, and he said, no mas. And nobody knows what he's going to do. So there's rumors that he might be signing with John Rahm because there's the Spanish connection. Right. And what I was saying to Andrew is, if I'm 21 and you're going to give me a guaranteed bag of money and I have yet to sign with a PGA Tour, give me my bag. I'll do 2-3 years of global travel and sharpen my game. Yeah. And then I'll go on. So it's got its place and its time. And I think it just took us a while to get there. And I love your perspective of, I mean, the PGA Tour has been around for a bajillion years, which is going to produce two things: slow change and bully-like behavior to any threat. They're borderline private equity, right? Like, who are you? We'd rather consume you than have you exist.
I honestly think the PGA propped up Live that first season with their actions by trying to blackball them and push them out. I think they screwed the pooch. Like,
curiosity would have served them better.
Yeah, they made too big of a deal that
they should have turned around and said, "Hey, listen, we're a business. They want to go to a different business. That's fine. People leave, corporate companies all the time. They're banned from playing with us while they're signed with them. However, if they leave their contract and want to come back, let them come back. End of story."
It would have been a cleaner way for sure,
100%. But I feel like they built up Live to be this evil thing. People like Brandel Chambly just droning on and taking the very woke stance of Saudi Arabia is not a good country to take money from.
That got old so fast, that whole narrative.
It's like, I'm sorry, didn't the last 10 years the PGA play in Saudi and take money from them? And
PGA doesn't go there, but the DP World Tour does. But anytime somebody plays that card, I'm like, do you have an iPhone? And they're like, yeah, it's right here. I'm like, then shut the fuck up.
Oh, dude, 100. Do you wear Nikes? It is what it is. Like, I love this country. I am very patriotic,
100%.
but to pretend like we haven't done some
Right.
fucked up shit or is a joke.
It's just like that. Yeah, we're trying to bring in shit that is not. I go back to the Dustin Johnson approach when we all saw in full swing, where he was just like, listen.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the U.S. Open. Can't take that from him. He's got a lifetime ticket punch to Augusta National.
Oh yeah.
He goes home to Paulina Gretzky every night, and you're going to offer him 120 or whatever it was $1 million. Who are we? To judge?
You only have to play 8-9 weeks a year. It's like, wow. So I can be with Wayne, my father-in-law.
This is why we're getting into. I think what we're going to end up seeing LIV is going to be the bookend. It's going to be a bookend tour to careers. You're either going to come fresh out, go sharpen your skills, and get a quick early investment to say, all right, $5 million from LIV, or all I got to do is play a season on LIV, and I'm going to make $4 or $5 million.
Yeah. And
there I have my runway for a couple of years at a shot at maybe the PGA Tour down the road somewhere in there. That's going to attract those kids because they're not going to get the big, the massive billions or millions and millions and millions. They might get a little chunk of change, to sign because they got to flash and say, we are LIV Golf. Here's a milli to sign. Now the rest is on you.
They're going to play the heat, right? Anybody with hype, they're going to gravitate towards that because it brings eyes, and it's
and all they need is one. All they need is that they just need one good signing a year to kind of keep feeding that. Because then you're going to have enough guys in the middle who want to just stay alive. But then it's going to be the talent at the end. I think Lucas Glover might jump one of these days because he's starting to get a little curmudgeon-y. He's talking about locker room secrets with the driver testing and everything. He's got his FedEx Cup. He's got his major, etc. Anytime I mention him, I have to mention that he went to middle school with my sister. So I could see him being the kind of guy who's like, listen, I'm going to build up my presence and my social media and everything, and that makes me a little more marketable. And listen, I'm not looking for much. I just want a guaranteed 5. Give me $5 million and I'll come over, and I could see that being a great retirement route other than the PGA Tour champions. I think the PGA Tour champions is going to be the one that really takes kind of a hit with this in the long run.
I could see that too.
Yeah, absolutely. But see, the one thing I like that LIV did is knowing that they have that kind of money invested, which, by the way, and I love how the PGA was very upfront with, oh yeah, we turned down LIV's or the PIF $1.5 billion deal or whatever. And then if you read down the article, but we shook hands and signed a deal for future investments. It's like,
yeah, but they did that with the separate entity that they created.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're towing the line, knowing that, you know what, if this pops and becomes the phenom, right? Like if it tips the scales enough that they'll be like, all right, fuck it, we'll do our own Ryder Cup, like LIV versus Pete. They're always going to keep that in their back pocket because why wouldn't you? You're the attraction. And
it's just like this college football playoff shit. I was hearing the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey talk about we're already talking about expansion. We're at 12. They're already looking at 14 next year. With possible 16 landing place. The SEC and the Big Ten are talking about just breaking away from the NCAA altogether with football, and it just goes to show that all of these contracts and it's all malleable. It's all bullshit because there's enough lawyers in whatever rooms to justify anything, or there's enough money for these people just to pay out these contracts.
It's basketball. Basketball is happening. like literally just corporations now and like buying things and that's it. Like it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna pay me a sick amount of money, generational wealth to play golf less. Okay.
This is so fascinating because all it's gonna do is keep these majors, the PGA Championship, for as much crap as it receives, I think it might be on the chopping block in the long run for some futuristic global major that replaces it, because the U.S. Open and the Open Championship ain't going anywhere.
Nope.
Augusta ain't going anywhere. Right. But I could see the PGA Tour looking around going, PGA of America, they're not really like us, because we got the Players Championship, and I could see something like that happening where we have a new global major that emerges that kind of elbows out the PGA Championship a little bit, or just becomes the 5th major. I mean, the senior tour's got 5 majors, the women's game has 5 majors.
Yeah,
we already have the Players, but I mean, I could see something like that happening, some sort of like fall major that that was right there in the middle of football season. That's going to be a money grab for somebody.
I was going to say, not only that, like maybe you never know, because especially like Tiger Woods is building golf courses now, something else is going to become a cathedral to golf. And that's going to be your next major. I think that's the next situation that steps up.
It's going to be in French Lick, Indiana.
Yeah, I know you love it.
So I know right now it's not open yet. It's definitely going to be private. But the Mike Trout, Tiger Woods
I can't wait for
in
that.
Jersey.
Yeah.
And then, dude, that what's it called down in Florida?
Panther National.
Insane. Just like so, and it's
everybody just played that.
Really? What were the reviews?
Everything as advertised. He's like, what else would you expect from the experience? I
think that's where we're going.
I said this the other day. I was like, this. So Rory McIlroy, and whether it's for majors or not, what you just said is exactly what I was talking about the other day. Rory McIlroy said, money's not the object anymore. We learned that was the other lesson we learned through LIV. The three of us on this screen, it's not the money. It's not about the money. We're as a society, we're numb to it. It was a big deal in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s when professional sports was like, whoa, you can make what money? Now there's private equity guys who look at pro athletes and they're like, here's my keys, don't forget to fill it up. And so it's a whole different world we live in. So then it's back to just sheer excellence and trying to get everybody together at the same time. And what Rory was saying is, how do you do that? Let us play at fucking cool places. The Ryder Cup in 2027.
They're always gonna want a cool venue.
The Ryder Cup at 2027 is going to be with one of the most sought after teams on both sides of the pond, because it's being played at a place that they all lobbied for years. It's called Adair Manor, and there's been tournaments there, here and there in the DP World Tour. But if you look it up, Ryder Cup 2027, and it is going to be that is the premier. That's what's going to be that, like, oh my God, there's new places we haven't seen before. And so to TJ, to your point, I bring up, I said French Lick kind of tongue in cheek, but the Pete Dye course at French Lick is currently hosting the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. I think they're towards the end of a 4 or 5 year run. That place, I've been out there. It is a cathedral in the hills, and it is beautiful. It's one of those gorgeous golf courses. You should look it up when we get off. 8,100 from the tips. They have the Big Ten championships out there. They've had the Senior PGA Championship out there, and so it's got the pedigree. And when the Corn Ferry Tour signs a deal like this, look out, because I could see that getting thrown into the mix, because it's like you said, Blue Jack National, Panther National. I mean, we all want Michael Jordan to open up the Grove and host. I think that's what we're all waiting for. But
he has no reason to, though. That's the thing.
But even the days of like, finally, maybe, what's it out in the West Coast, Cypress Point, they're hosting a Walker Cup. So, I mean, finally, we are seeing some of these clubs. Seminole, which was a closed shop for generations, they hosted that charity match during COVID with DJ and Rory through TaylorMade, and then they hosted a Walker Cup. So we are seeing these venues pop up, and I think that's a good take there on the creativity, and just also in this world of openness and inclusivity, and let's try something new, not making courses wait 40, 50 years to prove themselves. Instead saying, like, that looks dope as shit, it's getting rave reviews on social media, let's throw a tournament there.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem though with that is when you a course could be amazing. I love playing Tobacco Road down in the Carolinas, down in pretty much right outside of Pinehurst. Love that course. You'll never have anything there because it's a golf course. They don't have a massive clubhouse. They don't have any place, to
you couldn't even, there's nowhere to even build
players.
Temporary facilities. Yeah, you can't.
And that, I feel like, takes a lot of great courses in America. Like we play a course in New Jersey. It's down 20 minutes south of Atlantic City, called Shoregate. Beautiful. We played it the year I got married. We went down for my bachelor party, and the guy was telling us, he's like, we got a legitimate look from the PGA. And they're like, you don't have the facility, sorry. And that was the end of the story. They're like, we met all the checks. Got it. They looked at the building and they were like, yeah, no room. Sorry, bye.
And that's why these big old country clubs are ideal, because they're designed for 350 members, who they can just give up their lockers for a week and all that kind of stuff. Again, we're going to see that at Oakmont when 156 guys for the U.S. Open. This is going to be the Oakmont's 10th. So I agree. It's not that every cool up and coming course, because Tobacco Road, part of the charm of that too is that you're driving and out in the middle of nowhere, there's this gas station looking sign, and you're like, like right here. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're
You've
just blown
arrived.
away by the entire day. It's a beautiful, I did Tot Hill Farm 2 days before that. And then I did Tobacco Road, and it was
Nice.
gorgeous. Shot 75 at Tobacco Road. I was proud of that.
Nice.
Yeah. 35 on the back too. But
that,
the
that is
place
a gettable course too. If you are just smart, if you just like, there's
Patient.
places you can land that the fairway is 60 yards wide.
so wide.
Just land there.
Just don't
Like,
take
don't
the
push
cheese.
it.
Don't take the bait. Don't take the
Right.
cheese. Sixth hole, it's 260 to carry it, and then to the green or a little landing area. But then you're trying to fly over, the place that looks like it was a set for Mad Max. Meanwhile, over here is a 70-yard wide fairway that would leave you 100 yards, little chip shot. But nah, it says, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. And that's
My cousin went for it. My cousin went for it, landed behind the green. I was like,
I went for it and landed in the bunker, but then got up and down or not up and down. I got on the green and then made par. So to your point, yeah, not every cool course is meant for it. There has to be infrastructure. There has to be access to facilities. There doesn't have to be many though. That's the other thing is we're talking about like one a year. If the PGA Tour starts this thing, maybe the community course, whatever we want to call it, and they just go out and they find some dope ass, what's the hottest course on the planet right now, and let's get all of our guys there. Because two things: A, nobody's going to have familiarity with it. It's going to be something random. And B, if we're going to have a birdie fest, I don't want to see it at Kapalua Plantation, blah, 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 in Hawaii that I've never been to, that I'm never going to. I want to see it at, to your point, Tobacco Road, where I'm like, wait, what? I can play that for $325? That's worth it once in my life. Like, that's what we want. And I think it's the accessibility nature that's the hook for them moving forward. It is cool to see the beauty of Oakmont, the beauty of Augusta National, the beauty of Cypress Point, but that's not accessible. I just can't, no matter what. I can't get on Pine Valley. I can go and play. Okay, we're gonna keep, Tobacco Road. I can go and play Pebble Beach. I can go and play some of these courses.
Pinehurst.
Pinehurst. I can get on to Pinehurst. I can get on to TPC Sawgrass. It costs a mortgage payment, but I used to get to play it for $75.
Oh my goodness!
Let that puke in your suit. Back in high school, once a month I used to drive over from Tallahassee, and
that's tremendous.
$75 around when we were members back in the day. But that's another place that I wish it would get a shot at a major. I think because you can host a tournament and have a major, but I think it'd be cool. It had the U.S. Amateur. Tiger won his U.S. Amateur there. Yeah, I think it was his first of three, and they've obviously got the players. But that would be a cool spot to have later in the season, faster, hotter conditions. Really bring it to its knees. It's
built for competition, so why not take advantage of it? And especially if you can really, like you said, bake out those greens and make it to where. Yeah, guys,
you can make it unfair. You can make it very unfair.
Yeah, we're going for plus scores. Like no one's finishing under par. That's what we're doing, and you can make it that way.
Every now and then. That's cool. I know this past week at the Memorial, they Scheffler won at 9 under, 10 under, whatever it was, but the cut line was still 5 over.
As long as the cut line is above,
over, you could still be 2 over at the end of this, and you still got top 20. I think it was The leaders were up there, but everyone else, the majority of the field was right around that even par range.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
And so you watch that, you're like, wow, even par. And these guys are grinding. Yeah. It's like, I'd shoot a 127 here if I was lucky.
Yeah.
I love it. So fuck LIV. They're dead. I'm just kidding. I think I'm wearing a LIV t-shirt. No, they're not dead. What I say it from the beginning, and I do agree. I think that it, as evidenced by a lot of these business deals that are still being made.
Well, Louisiana just said that they're going to give them $7 million to bring a tournament to Louisiana. They're already you have states throwing the money. And say $7 million is not nothing either. It's just like, hey, here's $7 million. Just play here, please, and make money in our state.
It's just the awareness of it's an upstart league. They got their big flashy talent to come wave one to launch. And no, they don't deserve official world golf ranking points yet because unfortunately they don't play in that model. But it is what it is. It's entertaining. It is competitive. It is elite championship level golf. I don't think it's, tour level, but I think it's elite championship level golf, and it's fun. And they are playing for a lot of money.
Right.
Something else that's coming up. Keep your eyes on this. It's not hard to keep your eyes on Paige Sporanic, but she just got signed to the front office of this new grass. It's like the Grass League Golf. I don't know if you've seen this. It's essentially a par 3. It's a competitive par 3 golf tour.
Oh,
Okay.
And it's dope as shit. It's under the lights. People are chirping. There's drinks flying, and these guys are good. And it is a par 3 league. So, TJ, to your point on YouTube golf writ large, it is the future. It's not, it will never supplant the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is going to come more and more to the YouTube world. You already see it through their social media. You see it through, how long until it's just allowing these guys, they need collective bargaining for this, allowing them all just to say like, hey, can I just broadcast my round on my YouTube channel and I'll kick back proceeds because we're using all your equipment. It's your guys, it's your TrackMan and everything. But let's do this. Let's see how many guys follow me this week as I try to grind it out on the fucking Blue Moon.
Well, there would definitely be ways to tie those viewerships to some sort of rating to where the PGA is also getting some piece of that towards their numbers. Like there's
that's what I'm saying. Like, tune into TJ as I tackle, Oakmont and the U.S. Open, this, that, and the other. And since it's a major week, portion of my proceeds are going to go to blah, 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 blah charity. And then, as always, 10% is going to go to the big man upstairs. Thanks, Commissioner Jay. But that's the future, because at the end of the day, all of this, whether it's golf, basketball, football, the Godfather football, it's all a fucking television program. Without eyeballs, there are no contracts, there's no television. And if LIV, heaven forbid, LIV does snag some sort of super good TV rights deal, like let's say then I think you can talk about, them as a real threat. Until then, they're going to be an entertaining alternative. And I agree with you, TJ. I don't think it's smart or polite to poo-poo them. I did for the longest time when they were out of their element. And I think now
the biggest problem we had with
that's
them.
always been my biggest problem. It's like, just don't act more than you are, and don't think that you're the shine.
But you can't
all of those people,
right?
Oh,
you can't not.
You have to
shoot the shot.
You have to have the false bravado, the fake, the
fake it till you make it.
The quixotic Don Quixote. I'm gonna slay that fucking dragon. It's like, it's a windmill. It's like, don't worry about it. Don't tell him. Fuck it. He's gonna go for the green.
Let him go fuck up that windmill.
Seriously.
Scream America while you do it.
Real quick, before we land this plane, have either one of you seen the new Happy Gilmore 2 trailer?
I've seen the trailer, yeah. It's got everything in the trailer that you would want in a sequel to that movie.
I saw John Daly in his boxers or something ripping darts, and I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, he's sitting in like an old fashioned, like the plastic, like basket weaved, like lawn chair, like in front of a trailer, just giving advice.
Probably is.
Yeah, dude, it looks like a fun movie. The only thing I'm worried about is it like here's the sequel that everybody wants, because we listened to everything you said, and we stuffed it all in. The movie's not really coherent, but like, this cameo, that cameo, this cameo, that cameo, right? They already showed you the Will Zalatoris, right? I mean, how do you not? How do you not play into that?
I am a little worried.
Not to mention, he's got time on his hands. Sorry, too soon.
Right. There's going to be. I am worried, like you're saying, there's going to be no real storyline to it. It's just going to be a sequence of spots for all these characters.
For like the past. Since Happy Gilmore came out, me and my cousin have had this conversation of like, dude, it's really easy to do a sequel. Put Shooter McGavin, Happy Gilmore together on a Ryder Cup, President's Cup type of deal. Make just like Mighty Ducks 2, bring in an Iceland or some evil team, and you got gold. Now you're forcing the protagonist.
Goldberg.
I actually do love that idea. It's a great idea. Make them play together and work together. I like that.
Right?
Oh, we got a Mighty Ducks 2. We got a Mighty Ducks 2 full. Breath, blood, or urine? No, thanks. I'm full. That's my favorite response. You remember hold on real quick. Can we go back to that? Yeah. The Mighty Ducks, the most wholesome. This was a fucking Disney movie. Is that where he said breath, blood, or urine? He's like, no, thanks. I'm full. Anyways. All right, moving on. Back to you. Because he got pulled for DUI or just being drunk in his limo or something.
No, he was driving his sports car, and that's when he got pulled over.
Emilio. He was in his limo when it got hit by the puck.
Yes.
Emilio Estevez.
Yes. No, the one thing with that to end it on that I'm curious to see how they work it in is I saw in the trailer that Chubb's son is in it too, but also missing the same hand. They do the same bit with the breaking of the fingers of the wooden hand. And so like part of me's like, oh, cool. But then as you sit there and think about it, I'm like, how are they going to work that into the story? Like, what
exactly.
Exactly.
It's so fucking absurd. I can't wait to see how they thread that needle because that's pretty funny.
Exactly. I want them to lean into the absurd. It's like, I was born with this wooden hand. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. You have to realize.
Like, but your dad, he's like, yeah, I know, it's weird, right?
Same thing as Liv. You have to realize what you are, and that's what the Happy Gilmore sequel is. It's just a fun parody of everything that they've had over the years. Real fast before we close this up and land this plane, TJ, what's coming up on the docket for Scoreboard Addicts? What do you want to plug here for you guys?
So we're actually obviously winding down with the Knicks loss. New York just can't buy a championship at this point. What are you going to do? We fire our coach right away, which obviously New York sports media, half the fans want the coach gone, half the fans don't. And now they'll just be right. It's just infighting until they get the next stooge to come in and pretend like they're going to try to win. When in reality, James Dolan collects fat checks, whether they're in last place or first place. Mm-hmm. And again, that's all it's about in sports, basketball. Yep. But Nick is actually going overseas. Nick's in the Army, and he's getting deployed. So we're that kind of throws a wrench in the cogs a little bit, but he will have his phone on him. We'll be able to talk a little bit. So we're going to try to work out how we can do some podcasting. But right now it's just, Yankees and Mets baseball hanging in there, hoping that the Rangers make some moves in the offseason. And I'll be tuned into golf. And, of course, you guys let me know what's going on in the golf world.
Ryder Cup this fall.
Yes. Big fall coming up for golf. Obviously wishing the best for Nick. We'll have him in our thoughts, and you guys. I hope you guys are able to figure something out because we love watching you guys as well. Sorry about your Knicks, but not sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
That is going to do it for us here on Divots and Pivots, though. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube and on all the podcast stations, as you'll hear this on Wednesday morning. I'm Andrew. This is Bud. This has been TJ with us. Screw Liv, long live PGA. We love you guys.